Hello everybody and welcome to a T4R podcast special. My name is John. As you know, I'm a resident of Saha and a member of the T4R scrutiny panel. We've got, as I said, a special today, which I'm going to take you over to David to talk about and introduce.
Thank you, John. It's only you and I today. We have our other team member is on holiday, so hopefully we'll be seeing her again next time. But as you quite rightly say, we do have a special one today. I'm going to play the clip in a minute, but what we've got really is an interview by Louise, who our avid listeners would have heard from before, from the Customer Insight team, interviewing a young person from the Doncaster foyer. Now, the foyer itself is run by Saha. Aim is to assist young people, generally from ages 16 to 25. And the interview is really, really good. It's very heartwarming listening to it. And I'll just read you this strap line from the foyer, which says, they aim to provide a safe, nurturing place for young people experiencing homelessness to live, learn and to flourish. And I'm sure once people have heard the interview, they'll agree that I think that's achieved in this particular case. So what we'll do then, without further ado, if that's all right with you, John, we'll go and we'll play the clip.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Louise. I'm the Customer Insight Manager at Saha, and I do a lot of resident involvement work up and down the country, working with our residents, getting to hear their voices and hearing their views. And today I have the wonderful Rebecca with me. Rebecca is a former resident of the amazing Doncaster foyer, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her time staying at the foyer, the transformational work that she's done there, and what she's up to at the moment. So welcome, Rebecca.
Hiya.
Can you start by telling me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a 23-year-old young person. I have a big family life, 6 brothers. I moved into the foyer I turned 19, I believe, due to domestic violence. And that's when things started from there, moving into the foyer.
Brilliant. Can we talk a little bit about your time at the foyer? What did you like? What were the ups? What were the downs? What were some of the changes that you were able to bring in at the foyer?
I was at the foyer I've been at the Doncaster foyer twice. The first time it was for 2 years. The second time it wasn't for a long period of time. But the first time that I moved in, I was really low on confidence. I wouldn't speak to staff members. When I came in for my interview, I didn't want to speak to anybody. I built a good rapport up with the deputy manager, so I was able to speak to her and gain their trust to then be able to speak to other staff members. So that was the ups of being in the foyer, and that helped me build my confidence up, because one big confidence boost for me was I used to wear my hood up all the time. Any sort of weather, in the sunshine, in winter, I used to, because of my hair being so short. But I worked with staff and I built the confidence up, and I managed to take it down. So that were a real success for me. And I'm so glad now that I did do that. Some of the downfalls was when I used to get put on my 28-day notice, which is no longer called 28-day notice, because I never used to pay my rent. And that's the simple fact that my brothers used to rely on me for money. So that's where my money would go onto my brothers. But other than that, I think that is the only downs that I had, going on my notice and stuff like that. But working with staff, there was a lot of ups, and I know we haven't got all day, but there was a lot of ups where when I started interacting with staff, I'd create memory boxes because I do a lot of poetry work. So all my poems could go into the memory box. And I can remember doing an event at Sheffield for the Youth Word Up twice. That was with the help with the foyer staff, and they came and supported me and gave me the confidence to stand on stage. I will be never doing it again, because it doesn't get any easier after the first time you do it. But it gave me that little bit of confidence to then do it the second time. and I managed to look up then instead of just looking down at my poems. So they helped with that confidence. They helped me build a good relationship up with my friends and my family, even though like I didn't have a strong relationship with my family when I moved into the foyer, especially due to the domestic violence that had happened. But we've got so many good memories. I could write a book about the foyer, and in fact, that's what I'm starting to do. I started a couple of months ago to write a book about my time at the foyer, but then obviously mental health issues got involved. So, but I find writing is it helps me a lot when you can write things down, and especially when I'm writing about my experience at the foyer, because it was a really good experience. I thought I'd never in my life end up in a place like this, but I did, and I've said numerous times I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change them 2 years that I were here. Whether I were on my notice or not, I wouldn't change it. Coming on to the notice part, I sat down and I spoke to Katie, and I said, because I grew up in care, and I got put on my 28-day notice near enough all the time in foster placements. And I said to Katie, I said, look, it's kind of triggering my past, and I don't want that past triggered. I says, and it's really like upsetting the fact that yous have labelled it 28-day notice. So she says, have you got another one? And I said, yeah, transformation month, because you're giving young people that time to transform from the negative behaviour to the positive behaviour. Whereas when I was in care, we didn't get that. We had to be moved within 28 days. But whereas here at the foyer, when you're on transformation month, you can redeem yourself from where you are at the beginning.
There's such a positive way to look at it, that, Rebecca, that, like you said, you've got that 28 days to be able to take a problem, work with the staff of the foyer, and then change things. And well done to you for implementing that, and speaking to everybody there, and Katie, and making it better for everybody. Yeah. It sounds like you've had a massive change in terms of your confidence then, it's so happy to see. I'm guessing that Rebecca in the beginning possibly wouldn't have come on our podcast, seeing as she doesn't want to stand up in front of people and talk. So thank you for coming on. Can I ask you to describe yourself then? If you were looking back and stepping away a bit, what is the difference between Rebecca, who first came to the foyer, and Rebecca now, who's moved on?
Trusting a lot of people. Like I said, when I first moved into the foyer, I wouldn't trust anybody. I wanted them to give up on me straight away, because I've had people give up on me in the past. So I thought the easy way out is for them to give up on me and not try with me. Yeah. But the staff here, that was no option. Like, I wasn't allowed that option. So I had to I spent a lot of time speaking to Katie before I spoke to my project worker. And I worked with Katie, my project worker, to speak, obviously, and to work with my project worker. Yeah. But it's just the confidence. Like, you come in here and there's 39 other residents, and there's a whole staff team, and you just walk in, and it's a big building. It's not like it's a little small building. And you just walk in and you're like, no. That's how I was when I walked in. And I had the mindset of, I'm not going to settle here. They're not going to work for me. I want them to give up on me. And I just want to walk away. I don't want the help. But when I started speaking to a lot of people, staff members here, I was like, you know what? I'm glad they haven't given up on me. I'm really glad.
That's really good to hear. And it's nice that you see that, because obviously I've been to Doncaster. It is a big building. There's a lot of people milling around. Can I ask you, Rebecca, if you were to be able to see somebody now who was coming in for the first time, what would you say to them? And they may be nervous. Don't be scared. Okay.
Like, don't be. Because I know when I used to live here and we got new residents coming in, or even when I left before we went into lockdown, I were able to show people around, and I were able to sit there, and I were able to speak to other young people, and obviously speak to staff members that are applying for jobs. And I'll just say to young people, don't be scared, give it a go, because life isn't a marathon, so we have to take each step, like each day as it comes. So we're going to get obstacles thrown at us and stuff like that, but we just have to overcome them. And I think that's what I was like when I first came into it for you. I was like, well, I'm going to get all these obstacles chucked at me, and I'm not going to be able to sort them out because I don't trust these staff. This is when I first moved in, like, they're strangers to me. I don't want to trust them. I don't want to go into speaking about my life and stuff like that to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to say to anybody that we're moving into it for you now is give it a go. Don't throw it away at the first chance you get. Because I tried that and I don't know where I'd be now if I didn't let these into my life and if I didn't build the trust up with them.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. There's very wise words there, and I think there's a lot of people probably listening to this that will resonate in some way with them. So I just have one final question for you. I mean, it's speaking to you, you can see the confidence increase in yourself. You mentioned, previously that you're writing, which is brilliant. You've been involved in interviewing new staff members at the foyer, getting involved with the residents who are there as well. So what's next for you? What's the plans for the future?
Well, my dream job has always been to work with the elderly or like little children in a nursery. But I've been sat thinking, and I want to be an advocate for young people that have been in similar situations that I've been in. For instance, like when I spoke to Katie about the Transformation Month, it wasn't just coming from my point of view. I was trying to speak for other young people as well that are afraid to speak up. So I'd like to be an advocate working with young people and even in the mental health section because, I've been through it and I'm coming out at the other side and stuff like that. So I would like to help other young people that feel like they can't talk to adults, but they can talk to somebody that's young because, I might be 23, but I still look about 13. So I've got that advantage of if residents or any young people want to speak to me, they can feel confident in speaking to someone similar their age. So that's the way that I'm looking at life at the minute.
It sounds exciting, Rebecca, and I think you're right there, having that connection with somebody, making them, feel at ease, and letting them go at their own pace to be able to go through. It all sounds brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on our podcast, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, that was great. Thanks to Louise there for that lovely interview from Rebecca. I think that was absolutely great. And like I said, I hope people will think like I do, that was a very heartwarming and informative interview. Well, John, I think that's about it. Over to you.
Thank you, David. I do believe so. As you say, a very interesting conversation there between Louise and Rebecca. Thank them both very much for that interview. So I think, again, that is it for our podcast special. We will be along shortly with another one, but until that time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. Thanks, John. See you next time, everybody.
Will do. Bye-bye.